Never seen a diamond in the flesh.
I love Lorde. Lorde is a pop singer born November 7th, 1996. She first exploded into prominence in 2013 with her hit song Royals and the accompanying album Pure Heroine. She had a few other singles off that album, but mostly faded away until her second album Melodrama came out, which had a few minor hits and was critically acclaimed. Most notably, Royals became one of the most influential songs of the last 10 years, paving the way for pop to take a more subdued and thoughtful tone. Lorde might not have had a bunch of hits, but the people following in her footsteps have. I first discovered Lorde the way most people did. The first album was getting a lot of praise, and I liked Royals just fine, so I gave the whole album a listen. I fell in love with it. Not to say it's perfect, she's very minimalistic, she uses stripped down beats that emphasize her lyrics, but her lyrics are really good. And on that first album, she vents her frustrations toward the vacuous club pop that was big at the time, the freedom of youth, the importance of privacy, and the stresses of public life. Through songs like Tennis Court and A World Alone, you get the feeling she loves writing poetry and singing, and could really care less if she's famous. In fact, she'd probably prefer not being famous, because then she'd have a lot more freedom and will be able to be normal. That brings me to her second album, Melodrama. It's a concept album chronicling her swirling emotions after her first real breakup. There is a lot of self-loathing and pettiness involved that I can kinda relate to. In her first album, there was this precocious poise where she acted better than her peers, but in songs like Supercut and Greenlight, she comes off endearing, sympathetic, and ultimately thankful for the double-edged sword of popularity. On one hand, her fame and fortune has made her unsure if people genuinely care about her, or if they only care about her status. On the other hand, it's given her a release valve to be worth something, entertaining people instead of spiraling into self-destructive madness. This is all really heavy stuff, so it's no wonder Melodrama didn't do as hot as Pure Heroine. But for my money, it's a far better album. It would have been so easy to cash in on her momentum with a second album that sounded exactly like the first, but she took her time, developed as a lyricist, a musician, and as a person. Lorde is still really young, but she seems to have a good head on her shoulders and will continue to grow and develop even as the music industry around her stagnates around her debut album. And that's why I love Lorde.